started broadcasting, I wanted to go right there for a bit. And you know, dude from the roof got my ass. The fuck is that? My cost on the. Nah, come out, Bucko. Why you scared? Why you scared? Damn it, he ran away. Hi. Bye.
Enemy strong to incoming.
Oh my god, my fucking eyes. Why the fuck are my eyes itching? Goofy. There's somebody on the top floor. Yo, teammate, did you not know somebody's right here?
Shit. I know your love it surrounds me, but I'd still kill everybody in this crowd if it means I can have you back. I burn every racket, never make a track. If it meant I can see you again. My best friend taught me how to be a man. You left, and now our family is lost. We extended time, but I know grandma can't sleep at night the same way as before. My heart is so cold. I wish you could see the vision of the night. I wish you could know the things that I've done. I wish
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, bro. You were not gonna live. He was not gonna live, even if I tried. I. Not your problem. It's a Thank you. I will sacrifice myself. Yes. In the time of need, it is here. The fuck?
All stations, no enemy movement at any time.
Area clear.
You should hear my ass. You hear my ass regarding the other guy. No way. The cat song. They say the next song is the cat song. And then the song's name is Erica. Girl. Oh my goodness. Okay. Dang. That dude has 9,000. So beautiful.
Rucker, you're headed to the war zone. Enemy soldiers incoming. Enemies are dropping into the area. Watch the skies. All stations, green light. Deploying to the war zone. Resurgence. Survive and your team can redeploy. Eliminate targets, bring them back faster. Alright, mark
Can't charge me to pay attention. My best drawings were on the desk and after school detention. Creating every day because it's the only thing I'm good at, or great at. But you could argue nobody should say that about me. Prime the amount of success God has allowed me to have. Told me that Hail Mary, you know I ain't dropping a pass. Yeah. I feel the most at peace with both my feet stood on top of the grass, learning not to give a fuck. Past thoughts to be mad on the wall with the talk. You ask me why I ain't rapping it. Inspiring, I say
You've made it to the top 10. We've got 10 squads active in the field. Enemy UAV is online.
We were requesting UAV tasking. Taco, get a UAV in the air.
Fuck you, bitch.
Teammates, get him.
You have reinforcements inbound. Back on station. Don't get over.
I knew I smelled pussy. The dude that killed me, bro. Bro, ignore me like a goofy. What the fuck?
Excuse me, wait.
Shut the fuck up, bitch. Hold up, teammate. Down. Ooh, what? Shut up. Shut your stupid ass up, bro. You stuck in the room alone. Okay. Okay. Teammate doesn't. Damn. Oh, that's creepy. That's scary. Fuck you, bitch.
This is creepy. Like, if that was real, I think the scary thing are when it's a monster, it's like a lizard rat. Like, this is fuck. This is scary, but it's not as scary because it's like, what the fuck is this?
The effects. The most common shorthand is to simply copy the appearance of unicorn.
Satan. And why are they different? Satan.
But the difference is
With horns.
with the bifurcated tail, they're great for me.
If all it took to make it convincing epitome of evil was a red cape and green horns, the movie would be a lot scarier. Just because a movie that tells you what you're looking at is the Lord of all malice, doesn't necessarily mean you believe it. Creating a figure that viscerally personifies evil is not just a question of visuals, but characterization. After all, cruelty is not an aesthetic, it's important landmarks and their wickedness on screen.
I'm like simply trying to imagine the scariest thing I can while I'm also simultaneously watching this and trying to talk to you guys. This is like the first time I'm tripping out. I'm like sitting in my brain trying to picture like what's the scariest thing I can think. I know I'm coming in when I'm like I'm shifting in my brain and I know I'm just like,
Of course I'm laying down. Your goofy ass is over here running around like roaches.
from the movie is it also like something that's like it enjoys like
Shut your bitch ass up. You can't fight for shit.
something that's malicious, but something that's malicious and angry is less scary than something that's malicious and happy.
See, it's difficult to empirically measure evil beyond subjective view.
No eyes. I don't like make things the scariest. Because they always say looking at somebody's eyes is seeing inside of them, seeing their soul. And so if something has really creepy eyes, you really don't even need to do anything else to make it creepy.
If their eyes and their mouth are scary, if this bit of their face is scary, nothing else matters.
Most philosophies recognize two major categories of unkindness: moral evil, which is the result of intentional actions, and natural evil, which is the result of impersonal phenomena. And therefore, most people find the former to be more evil than the latter, regardless of
Yeah, three of them, they're all dead.
Just thought behind his misdeeds. Whether this is objectively
Stop moving, please.
subject of boundless philosophical debate, because it used to be
Random chance. A tsunami occurring is evil, but it's just an occurrence that has no motivator, comparable to a person that just wants to kill you.
So now you see all of this is to determining the ultimate monster. Find the entity that has done the worst things for the meanest reasons, and well, that's fast. The second half of the quandary. Of it. Today's two bird gods from Adventure Time, Hudson Aguirre and the Lich. Hudson rules over a plane of eternal agony, a sadistic layered head of nightmares seemingly designed to torment an infinite amount of people in an infinite amount of time. It is Hades and hell and like the DMV all rolled into one.
Okay, bozos, make room.
Considering that Hudson has set the realm up this way because it's from a philosophical standpoint, he's just about the peak of moral evil. In contrast, Leech's plan to spiritual life is cold and dispassionate. Obviously not just
That's scarier. That's scarier. 100%. Something that wants to eternally torture everything versus something that wants to get rid of all life ever is a more terrifying creature. It's soulless, right? There's a motivation behind somebody that wants to have people feel hate, right? There's some level of humanity in them that is twisted and corrupt versus somebody that just wants to see the world burn is like another level of, oh my god, something's wrong. Like you're missing something. It's not something that's twisted, you're just lacking a level of humanity.
So you're just gonna...
in human life. People are more afraid, not existing, than living.
It seems to me that suffering might be less principled than the Lich's icy oblivion, but it isn't as frightening. And really fun that
wow, this guy's fucking fast right now. I feel like...
Yeah, fuck this shit. Fuck y'all. Fuck this. Udo.
Firestorm's cruelty is not a recent psychological phenomenon. In Dante's Inferno, 14th century narrative poem, the very heart of hell is cold. A vast frozen realm robbed of passion, light, its agony slow.
Bro, this is why I also think The Thing, I hope he talks about The Thing. I'm a big The Thing dick rider, okay? I'm a King Glazer of the movie The Thing. It's my favorite film. I think the reason The Thing is so scary is because it removes the capacity to have trust in anyone. And humans are innately social creatures. And the idea of The Thing, for the people that don't know, is it's basically an alien that kills you, turns into you, and then it has all of your memories and acts like you. And gains your trust just to do the same thing to you and kind of spread itself out. And so once The Thing's introduced into your realm, you can't believe anyone's real. Or anyone's telling the truth. It's like living in the Truman Show, but every actor wants to kill you.
You see this idea echoed in the book series A Song of Ice and Fire. The most terrifying threat to the realm aren't the fires of human conflict, but the icy machinations of the enigmatic others. Beings whose lives are by demonic night ominous buildup of compounding mysteries revealed to be a stupid and calculating bad guy. Some would argue this was a terrible decision, by which I mean me. I'm arguing it was terrible.
Well, yeah, that's also just because the big American audiences don't like when the villain wins, and sometimes, yeah, it is annoying that like cold, calculated villains that are so smart and have wiped the entire universe, like Thanos, end up failing. You have all of the power and all of the knowledge in the entire world, and yet you lose. It's not possible. In a realistic,
He won. What are you talking about?
In Marvel,
He won.
Thanos has no resistance. It would be utter annihilation, whatever you want, and it would be basically be gone. God.
Monstrous evil not as a raging brute, but a subtle, light, almost distorted interpretation. The Witcher series pushes this concept to the extreme and it's like possessing the power proceeds from the soul. The world has plaything through the smallest cracks and adjustments. He may very well be the depth of this world. After all, though Holy Horns is often shown working through manipulative deals and intentions, the strange man of the game Red Dead Redemption operates under similar principles. He's a seemingly all-knowing taker of souls who nonetheless...
Yeah, I think that the biggest fear is the realization that he's been there the whole time and you've just entirely forgot about it.
Like the entities retain their unknown gravitas, never lifting the veil upon its nature. What are you? Do you really wish to know? Yes. No. You don't. Despite only revealing a small glimpse of their power, both figures feel hopelessly beyond the scope of the player's influence.
I just Red Dead 1. Is this guy like a dude, or is this like actually like the devil or something? He's meant to be dead.
Clean, hopeful, or
Oh, nobody knows. So it's like left up. Work here?
The Life Professional series works hard for you, in store and on the job site.
Yo, teammate, watch out behind you. Yellow, there's a dude dropped on the floor.
Available at Menards.
That's what the fuck you get for being a retard, bro. What the fuck? He died like he was down right behind you. What kind of...
As I've discussed in past videos, beyond a certain threshold of destruction, it is increasingly difficult to take devastation seriously.
Yeah, it's scary, but I don't know. I think a big giant that's the size of a planet that's just going through wiping everybody out is less scary than something that's human size. And still has the same power as the big guy, but you don't know it until like it's too late.
Because their minds much more easily quantify the latter.
Like who's the Dormammu from Doctor Strange is not as scary as Black Widow.
The threat is so massive it's difficult to admit.
Black Widow.
The stakes seem smaller. Only on a cosmic scale, perhaps unsurprisingly, struggles to be intimately scary. So perhaps the most it's so understated that it's essentially the problem to remove the worst discomfort. Such a nightmare stalks the bleak landscapes of the Polish film Diabel, a man cloaked in black known simply as the character to indulge in his darkest impulses. This depiction of evil uncontrollable is how the stranger seems almost unable to recognize the narrative, showing that he can slay or human would. Despite the fact that he reveals his true cold malice in the first scene, despite the fact that the film's title...
There's too many of them. Teammate, I tell you, there's too many. Too many!
The hypothetical is extreme as the scariest monster. Understandably might want to control, but it's both subtle and
Tell me you get no bitches without telling me you get no bitches.
Are less scary. Attack on Titan for people that don't know. Monsters in AOC are scarier when they're mindless. Mindless is kind of evil-driven monsters are scarier than something with motivation. Like, something that's thinking is something that's less scary. It's just innately an evil creature.
The forms of familial dysfunction respects all the gruesome deities in the realms of Elden Ring are the product of a curse. One of sons of the more terrifying forms.
The whole premise of Souls games is also just grim. Like, everybody's just stuck in an everlasting, effectively torture, and you're the main character trying to end that.
Which figure is the zenith of cruelty? Promising candidates including the god-devouring serpent of blasphemy, Moog, the Lord of Blood, and other insanely named fellows. It is the Shadow of the Erdtree DLC that offers the most obvious candidate for demonic frontrunner, the borderline Luciferian Vesmir the Impaler, a violent god-child whose name is unfortunately quite apt. Vesmir sees this world's prince of darkness, with an unsubtle serpent motif, and yet he too is ultimately a victim of divine parental mistreatment. Classical mythologies have long held that there are forces more frightening than any manifestation of evil. In Greek mythology, the ultimate monster is Arthur, the father of all foul creatures, and the story ends with him taken by the frigid hands of the underworld, trapped beyond the veil for all eternity.
It's also different what people perceive as scary, right? Objectively, everybody kind of has very cumulative characteristics of what are scary in general. Like basically all humans are afraid of the dark. Not like you being alone in the dark in your room, but if you threw, I would say, every human in the world alone in the woods at night, 99% of people would feel scared, right? But outside of that, people have their individualistic experiences that make things more scary. Some men could probably relate to having fear of, a bad father, right? Or women the same, or anybody. What you deem as scary might be
in annihilating all living things, the nations left broken and separated. That awaits us all.
I strove to be your vassal on the physical plane, to extinguish all life.
Bruh, I never watched all of Adventure Time. That shit is crazy deep, comparable to what I thought it was.
And in my universe, this I achieved. It gave me no satisfaction.
Every monster discussed so far could be considered an agent of the same force. All members of death, just like things. Chinese. It's a concept that can be personified numerous ways across cultures. Sometimes as an ordinary message of a metagram. There's another way of imagining death. It's more chilling and perhaps unconventional, ultimate stress. Not 1957 masterpiece The Seventh Seal tells the story of a knight who returns home from the Crusades to find his home overwhelmed with the divine plague, and at the crossroads of war and illness, death itself waits for him. Seeking to delay his fate, the knight challenges death to a chess match, all the while begging the figure to answer questions about the nature of life, evil, and bereavement. Yet death offers no comfort. His uncaring form, swallowing all cries for meaning, screamed into the dark. Death, in The seventh seal does not even seem...
Well, death is also just fucking... Death is the scariest thing that anybody will ever experience. Because it's the one thing that you can have absolutely no input or... No, you have no input in the making of what's going to happen. Death, somebody said death is an eternal nightmare. You have no say. You know, it's not like, oh, your parents are making a decision and you're not allowed to talk about it or anything, because you can still sit there and change the outcome. You are going to die. We are all going to die, and coming to terms with having literally no thing that you can do or say or achieve to change that is fucking shitty. It's sad. Like, here's some spoilers. That's the best comment today. That's the best comment today. I appreciate you. It's just a chatter. You are a great chatter. I'm happy to have you in my stream. We're seeing spoilers.
Perhaps it's unsurprising that death is imagined as the ultimate villain. After all, death is, I think, the most fundamental fear we possess, or abject horror includes
fear of death, and fear of death is one of the motivations that keeps people going. And just on a humanistic, animalistic perspective, your goal in life is to survive long enough to reproduce. And so everything that will prevent that is something that is an enemy of yourself. So that's why monsters in themselves can be scary, but nothing can be scarier than death itself. Wow. 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 Okay. Wow. More scared of dying than death itself. I'm scared of growing old and losing the ability to function at a level that I am now. And I think that's written a lot about in Stoic philosophy and Marcus Aurelius, where it's kind of it's actually a thing that people that created Stoicism killed themselves. And it's a thing within Stoicism that when you recognize your body or your mind are going, you take yourself before it gets too late. Because you lose yourself. I think at some point you physically die, and I think at some point you mentally die. And one of the best things people have. When your brain starts deteriorating and you're still alive, the you that existed is gone. And something that comforts me, at least, is that the me that exists right now will be dead before I die. Because tomorrow, the me that exists right now will be dead. I will be an entirely different person. Only a very fractional percentage of me will have to confront that. And Marcus Aurelius talks about this, and a lot of other philosophers talk about it. The fact that when you die, you literally lose the present. The only part of you that is losing anything is the part of you that exists in that exact moment. Because every other part of you is either already gone, or hasn't existed yet. Which is comforting, but it's also just like, okay, yeah, still that sucks.
Against the living. It is the monster at the end of all things. It has no reason to play fair.
That's why it's looking about the self-paced online.
Hell nah, bro. I heard that shit.
Versus $11 a month.
Get an LDBR on my mark.
Only two left. Last chance, soldier. Kill or be killed. it's done.
Wow, dude. I would just think about the last. I think about whether or not I'll the last movie and what I'll experience for my life lasts before my eyes. What will the last waking moment be? Will it feel like a dream? Or will I consciously, in my own brain, tell myself, wow, I'm actually about to die? And I wonder, whenever I think about this, if in that moment I'll flash back now. I will forget this in a year. And I wonder if when that occurs, if that will come back to me. I have a lot of people in my life, not going in very specific, but that will likely die soon, and it's very sad. But hearing stories from them, they say they're beginning to dream about things that they haven't thought of in decades, and places they haven't been to in forever. And it's not even a conscious thought of them actively trying to search it. It's just popping up in their brain. Why? I don't know. I think as you die, you begin to reach back to things subconsciously that you haven't thought of in forever. Like if you live to the age of 75, you in your last moments of your life might
I'm personally find it constantly really considering keeping the fights together. Someone else in the group is inclined to be physically about each other. It's a question of whether or not a corporeal nightmare haunts you more than a dreamless abyss. And it's a question I don't think has a universal answer. Fear is a slippery, evolving thing. Multiple faces.
running water. I said that's the start of
What?
Visions of demons and ghosts that have been with us since the beginning. The friend smiled and said, "Actually, the serious monster is your brother. Ricky, if you watch for us, so
I thought I was about to be hit with some fucking background knowledge type shit. At the end, oh my god, I thought he was going to give me the answer to one. Serious hard time. W fucking stream chat. That's like 5 videos. We'll go through this hour candy review. So it's fucking W stream altogether. I had a fun ass time streaming, but you got
What the fuck?
Merrick's video, the scariest stories in Joe Rogan history, locked in chat.
5 of the scariest stories ever told in the world. 2016, featuring Post Malone. Post Malone and Joe Rogan. Get ready.
later, they also just y'all think ghosts are real? Everyone I know, not everybody I know. Nobody can like tell me, yeah, to a degree, I think so like in my mind when you here, but I've never seen a ghost personally. I mean, there's been times where I've been scared like, you know, not ghosts, but like the environment.
Bro, so you just gonna leave me like that? Fuck you too, Yellow.
This does a theory on why places get haunted. Here's the thing about ghosts. There's so many stories of them. Right. There's so many. Right. Now,
Who else would think that's because ghosts are real? I would say the majority of ghost stories are fake. I think that's a big one. That even if ghosts are real, not lying, they think they see them, but they haven't. There's enough explanation. Their mind was playing tricks on that.
is it because people are just scared? Their senses are on heightened alert and they see things that aren't really there? Because when it's dark out and you're tired and you're moving through the hallway, first of all, you might be half asleep anyway. But you hear things, you get scared, your senses get really heightened, and maybe you might see something that's not even really there.
Would you? Yeah, especially if you throw yourself up like, hey guys, we're going into a mental hospital where millions of people, not millions, thousands of people in the 1900s got tortured and killed. There's rumored to be ghosts in these hallways, and just walking around in abandoned hospitals. That's just terrifying. You're alone. Your mind, even if there was nothing there, you're gonna be like,
Joe Rogan is describing here as a phenomenon of the penicular hallucinosis. It's a rare neurological phenomenon that causes vivid visual hallucinations that typically occur in dark environments and last for several minutes. There's also something called hallucinations, which is something similar, but this is used to describe the phenomenon of vivid, intense, detailed, and often intricate visual hallucinations occurring during sleep onset or awakenings at night. These generally last for a few minutes at most and disappear with increased levels of light. Joe isn't trying to argue that ghosts are real. He's just explaining that a lot of ghost stories occur when it's dark. So these two phenomena could explain why a lot of supernatural
ghost stories during the day.
Things are seen when it's dark. Maybe what ghosts have actually just been hallucinating. It's just your
It's dropped my ghost energy on my fucking keyboard thing. I caught it, and I'm so happy. I had it like this, and it's almost empty. Oh my god, I would have broken another keyboard.
Your brain, it's always under low light conditions. It's always weird things that are fleeting and then they're gone.
But it's not always in the night.
It's not always in the night. It's always in the dark, right? You never like at the beach. There's a ghost at the beach.
There might be ghosts at the beach.
Yeah, that is true. You're never seeing a ghost just wandering around. Maybe the world, not on the beach.
Depends on where the beach you're at. There's no ghosts at the beach. For instance, the Pumas Beach in India is very well known for its black sand and its reputation for being haunted. Local folklore claim that the beach is possessed by spirits of people cremated there in the past. It apparently was once a Hindu burial ground.
You're convincing me most of the people that fear these things know that is a burial ground. People have died there. Do you think that if you put someone on this beach and you were just like, hey, nice night at the beach, and you never explained to them the history of the beach or people have died there or anything, that those people would experience ghost stories? I think there might be scary experiences for people. Like, you could probably test it. Say you were 10% about it, even 10, I think there I think 9 out of 10 people that knew about it were going to say they saw ghosts or something. I think 2 people on the other side are going to say they either saw ghosts or something. If you treat it's like implementing something in someone's time. Like, if you tell me there's dead people, I'm more likely to convince myself that I've seen something.
But again, most of these stories say that it's only haunted during the night. So is it really haunted, or is it just people who have been hallucinating?
Here's an argument for something being haunted. The comedy store in Hollywood. Because it used to be Ciro's nightclub. It used to be owned by Bugsy Siegel. And apparently, the word is they killed a bunch of people there. And almost everyone that I know that works there, everyone who's managed that works there a long time, they have some shit. Like they see someone in the kitchen, and they go to say something, and then they turn back again, the person old friends you haven't seen in forever wandering.
Wow, not like a translucent figure. That would be interesting. Because whenever I picture a ghost, I would picture, I don't know why, maybe it's movies, I would picture faded figurines. Like if I was a ghost, I would be, I'd be a little bit translucent. You would see, you know,
What's it think?
Imagine seeing like a real person, you're talking to them, turn around, you turn back, and they're gone. And then you look into it, you're like, oh, that guy doesn't exist anymore.
Through the hallway, and they go up the stairs, and you can't find them. There's like a bunch of stories like that. Now, granted, there's a lot of people who've done a lot of drugs at the comedy store.
Right.
That has to be factored in.
Now, there's an author, the only story I have, since I've told when my dad up in India, he worked at a restaurant that, yeah, it's like there, I don't know what it's called, but there was a book that used to fuck with the ghost, and they would make fun of it, and there was like a woman ghost, and they would like laugh at it, and you know, like joke with it. And they said it would like hit paintings off of walls and shit. And this is like my dad told me the story stone cold. And he was like, yeah, they used to mess with it. And one day he had to bring me to work or something, and he was walking up the stairs, and my eyes would not lock off of like one singular spot where there was nothing. And then the lights like turned off or some shit. I don't know. And this, he told me the story years ago, but he was like, most babies' heads just kind of like sit there, but I was like this, like tracking something. And he said that one of his other coworkers had a table like fly across the room and pin him against the wall, and he saw it. And I'm sitting here like, there's no way. That's got to be cat. There's so many people that I know that say these random ghost stories where they're like, yeah, I saw this object move. Like, there's no way you saw a fucking table fly across the room and pin a guy against a wall. Like, that's not true.
The author has previously told stories about her paranormal encounters. She claims that each night before they opened, all of the waitresses would set up the tables. You know, they would put on tablecloths. They would come back to the table, and the tablecloth would be taken off the table and sitting there holding. Not to mention, most comedians who are the store all have their own paranormal encounters.
There's so many stories worldwide of ghosts. I don't think it's impossible to. I think it's possible that things leave a memory, right? Like maybe if you hate someone so much, like you leave a memory on the space. Like
that's a stone tape theory.
You mean the word stone tape?
Yeah.
Stone tape?
Yeah.
What is
that the energy of a life is like left on material shit.
the bricks on the wall.
Yeah.
Or the curtain here.
Right.
You know, I don't know if that's a stone tape theory. Don't quote me on that. Don't quote me on that. Can you look up the stone tape theory for me?
Stone tape.
Post Malone refers to the stone tape theory to try and explain why people say that places have memories. It's a common phrase that paranormal investigators use. For example, for a haunted house, they could say that the house holds memories, or the walls hold memories. Now, the stone tape theory is a pseudoscientific idea that ghosts and hauntings occur when historical information is released from objects such as rocks. It suggests that certain materials like limestone, quartz, and other stones can store information about historical events. When the information is released, it can cause a residual haunting, which is when the past. So it's not actually a ghost haunting you, it's the memory being stored, being released of when they were alive. The event is quote-unquote replayed in the present. The theory also suggests that building materials can absorb energy and then replay it at a later time. So for example, if someone was murdered in a house, the building materials absorbed that energy, and then at some point that energy was replayed from the building materials, leaving the house haunted.
I'm friends with Zach.
Oh, oh my god, no, you scared the fuck out of me.
You ever take you to a haunted house? We did a whole episode. You should check it out, Scared. It's terrifying. It's terrifying, man. In his museum, so apparently there's a thing called the Dybbuk box, which is one of the most haunted items in the world, apparently.
I don't understand that though. How can something be more haunted than something else? Like the amount of souls or memories trapped in it?
So we took the glass case off of the Dybbuk box, which is in his museum in Vegas. And he thought it was a sick-ass idea to put the ashes of a lady who died while she was possessed on top.
Whoa.
And then
breathe in, receive my enlightenment in through your nose, out. No phones during asana.
Yeah, as soon as I complete this level of Royal Kingdom.
This is for relaxation.
So is Royal Kingdom. Then you pass some games. Sometimes easy, sometimes hard, but always satisfying. It takes my mind to a whole new level. Plus, there are no ads or nasty pop-ups to take you out of the moment. I've never been so chill.
He's unaligning our chakras.
You're unaligning the chakras. I want to play. I would like to play too. I would like to play as well.
Be quiet, Mark. That's what I said.
I think we all want to play.
Please. The class is trying to start.
Now gently open your game and swipe your worries away.
This isn't quite the zen I was going for.
Why are you still here?
You guys didn't have to tie me up.
I need help.
My plane almost crashed. I was in a car accident. My house got robbed, and I had bite marks on my arm.
The Dybbuk box is an antique wine cabinet. What? How did he fix that, though? Did he have to, go get, blessed or something? It is claimed to be haunted by a Dybbuk, or unequal spirit. The story goes that a man named Kevin Mannis purchased an old wine cabinet from the granddaughter of a recently deceased Holocaust survivor named Havela, who escaped Nazi-occupied Poland. Havela's parents, brothers, sister, husband, 2 sons, and daughter were all killed. She, with other survivors, fled to Spain and lived there until the end of the war. When Havela, who lived to 103, immigrated to the United States, the wine cabinet was only one of 3 items that she brought with her. As Mannis paid for the cabinet, Havela's granddaughter said, "I see you bought the Dybbuk box." Mannis wasn't familiar with the term. The granddaughter told him her grandmother always kept it shut and out of reach because there was a Dybbuk, which in Jewish folklore is an evil, restless spirit. Why wouldn't you get rid of the box, though, if you knew it was haunted? Spirit that possesses the living. The seller purposely told Mannis it to never be opened, and if it was, bad things would happen. Now, Mannis bought this box and gave it to his mother, Ida. Ida described feeling a cold breeze from the box as she opened its doors, then experiencing pure evil coming out when she opened it. instantly.
All like
It's fake.
I've never seen someone in fear so hard as whenever he touched it, and it's. I don't know if
You watched the video about this? Brother, I do not remember watching a video about that shit.
it's someone who's dead, or if it's a demon, or if it's something dimensional. But it's something there that goes bump in the night, I suppose.
I don't know. I think that's the thing though. Is like whatever story they tell me. At the end of the day, I wasn't there, so it's one of those situations where do I think you're lying? No, but do I think that what you saw and experienced was actually a ghost? I don't know.
Logan Experience number 2020 feature.
Because you could experiment on this. Am I right? You could get a motherfucker, give him enough money, make him open the Dybbuk box, and see if he gets hit by a fucking car next to you. See if he dies, right? And he'd do it, right? There's a million people that would fucking do it. You pay somebody $100, they'd be like, yeah, fucking bullshit ass box. Open it up. And if you do that 3 times and 3 people die a week after opening it, I go, okay, yeah, that's just haunted.
And Python Cowboy tells Joe Rogan how he found a satanic ritual site. Now, Python Cowboy is known for removing invasive species like pythons and iguanas from the Florida Everglades. He also documents his work on his YouTube channel. Now, Joe and Python Cowboy,
that dog wants to eat that snake so bad,
first get into a discussion about the Florida Everglades, where Joe says that it would be a really good place to hide stuff. Now, Python Cowboy tells Joe about some things that he has found in the Florida Everglades.
Dead bodies, dude. Dead bodies everywhere.
I found vehicles
like Dexter
that were used in crimes dumped out there. I've found dogs from dog fights that were dumped out there. I've found animals that have just been dumped. I've found very intricate and mind-blowing satanic rituals and sacrifices out there.
What?
Oh yeah. So I was, which I found different stuff before. You know, I'll find maybe it's where someone's doing some voodoo in the same area, sacrifice the chicken, all that stuff. Not that crazy. What I found this night was very crazy. Yeah, the police investigated it, made the news.
On coming at an abandoned aerojet facility. Then the facility got abandoned. Now, Python Cowboy says that you needed permission to be on the premises, but many teenagers and other people would sneak in and do things like spray paint the facility. Python Cowboy also claims that there have been murders and gang initiations at the abandoned facility.
Yeah, it's a whole thing. So we go out there. The first thing I came across was a big rock pile with a upside down wooden cross on top and a bunch of red spray painted upside down crosses all over. You could tell.
See, I'm not religious, and you know, I just filmed a philosophy video kind of explaining why. We've talked about it a million times. That would still scare the shit out of me. If I just see a pile of rubble with a bunch of red paint, upside down crosses everywhere, and it's dark out during the day, probably wouldn't really scare me. That's what that. I mean, that goes back to what they were talking about in the beginning, though. It means I'm acceptable that they can see.
When you're in the thick of it, it's a place that always comes in. Whether you're picking up something to a pickup truck or a power tool for your project, at Harbor Freight, your dollar always goes further. You can take pride in hard-working prices. Harbor Freight.
And it wasn't, you know, this is new. You know, this wasn't out here a few days ago. And
yeah, how much for you to fucking take that thing home?
As I kind of investigated that doll more, a little red scarlet snake actually came up and wrapped around her neck. And I picked up this, there it is, I picked up the scarlet snake, and, which, you know, is kind of weird that there's a live snake, a red snake on this doll. And I've caught a lot of snakes in my life. and that is the only one that was bleeding out of its anus. There was blood coming out of its beehole.
Now, after doing some research, a red scarlet snake bleeding from its anus is a serious sign that likely indicates a significant health issue. Any snake that Python Cowboy found could have just had a serious health issue, or as you will hear from Python Cowboy, could be something more demonic. When Python Cowboy arrived at the facility, there were these words sprayed he is watching you.
Go further in this complex.
No, dude. Nah, half mentality. I was alone, I'm dead. I was dead the second I saw that fucking doll with upside down drawers like that. But reading it, let's just keep moving forward. You don't read the warning sign they give you.
And there's these big abandoned buildings. I go into the building, still just Python. Who knows what these kids are doing? Your average kid just messing around, don't know Latin sayings like that.
Yeah, they did that. Yeah, they did. In high school, your guys' my high school used to teach Latin. There were so many kids that learned Latin, or they just Google it.
And then I come to this big room where there's the big pentagram. In the middle of the
pentagram and a lawn chair.
Pentagram, there is a three-legged plastic chair with a blood stain in the bottom of it where you can tell something was killed, sacrificed, whatever. On each wall, there's 3 walls. On each wall, there's upside-down crosses, Latin sayings, and all kinds of stuff. As I'm kind of walking into the room, which, I don't want to sound like a psycho or anything, but that doll from earlier grabbed my leg. I don't know if I kicked it, I didn't see it, or what, but that doll from the rock pile somewhere else, I don't know if it was another doll or what, I never seen that other doll. I kick it, it seemed like it grabbed me, it's that same doll from earlier, same thing with the cross on its forehead, the one eye cocked over, the other eye messed.
Nah, this one, I don't believe it. I believe the other one more. I don't know why, but this shit just seems like a bunch of, teenagers that are into, not cult shit, but more, demonic stuff. They find it interesting. They go do this shit in a fucking abandoned building, and they'll creep people out.
So Python Cowboy was in a large room with a pentagram on the floor and a chair in the middle that has a blood stain, not to mention the doll in there that apparently grabbed his leg. Now, probably the scariest part from this story is the writing that was next to the pentagram.
Saying on the ground that says, "The omen will follow," which to me was the creepiest thing of the whole thing. Was that if you interact with any of this spirit's going to follow you.
Now, as Python Cowboy and his team explored this facility even further, they stumbled across a room, and in the room there was a sleeping bag with something inside of it.
I thought this guy gets rid of fucking snakes. When did this? But now he's doing a ghost video.
Now they need to investigate the sleeping bag.
They didn't sacrifice a 9-year-old in that abandoned building.
Those ghost shows.
Those shows need to bring up stuff. Are there ghost shows like that? So they're more inclined to take. I'm not saying that they always do that. Any show where they're hunting ghosts, looking for something, looking for them, they're more likely to take. out the story and making it work on it.
100%.
Those guys got in trouble with some Korean film, and you like put plagiarized bunch
Really?
like copy and paste.
Yeah, jeez.
Yeah, it was talking about how an author was involved in a plagiarism scandal, but there are many terms covered as frauds. For example, Edmund Miller, probably the most investigators, and they have faced many controversy for years. Now, the whole Conjuring movie series as well, and many people have accused the Warrens of fabricating their cases or exaggerating events for the fame and for the money. They've also been accused of inserting themselves into high-profile paranormal cases and turning them into books, movies, and some of their investigations again to make their stories more scary for the family.
Some of my favorite. When you go from these theaters, I reach out to the people. I always ask them just to give those. There was a little boy that was in, where was I? Oshkosh. And there was an old theater, and the guy who runs the theater said, you know, there's legendary, they keep talking about, there's like 3 ghosts in the thing, and they're having a cocktail party upstairs in this like cocktail lounge off the balcony, and this guy's sitting there on the balcony, and he's talking to people, and he goes in there, he's leaning over the balcony, talking to the stage, having a conversation. No, that's my dad. He wants us to go down there. There's no one down there.
The thought about that was, yeah, now that freaked me the fuck out. The whole event, did y'all like the massacre? I mean, maybe that's what it was. But at the end of the day, the whole, like, kid scene, I will say, I think that, I don't know, the logic for me makes sense. Because when we were in my senior sem for philosophy, we had to talk about people that believe they had previous past lives and were able to give weird things to and the younger it is, logically it makes more sense to me that they would be more able to remember past lives or encounter ghosts. Not.
Ashley Sleep, available exclusively at Ashley Stores or Ashley.com.
Taken, they're still attached to the other side. I would say. I don't know. Not necessarily, I'm not saying I believe in that shit, but like very specific information. First name, last name.
Yo, teammates. They're rising.
Some sort of division in the army or something. And they really that kid, and it's real. Now, trying to go. It's scarier in stories, horror movies, when a kid encounters ghosts, because they're so, naive and stupid that they just perceive it as normal and not weird, right? It's something that's hidden in the world and lasted longer and longer in the physical realm. You're less, likely to encounter a ghost and more likely to be, weirded out by it.
What's little kids is that little kids just literally, yeah.
I would say both are sensitive to the presence of the world. I would say they're new, their brain is still forming, that they have not yet been pulled from that, spiritual temple.
The other information that we carry around our heads and all of our it's real, it's not real. And the little kids are see things. Little kids
can kill it.
Bro, your aim is ass. Dookie, bro. Take that skin off. You are not good. You are not a tryhard.
That was the scary. Mom, they were both pretty scary. That was the scary one. And I was by myself. You know, I was a latchkey kid. My parents just let me out of the house. Which, in retrospect, I think about it now, I couldn't imagine. But
No, literally, it's such a scary vibe. Not even a vibe. I think society, there's obviously more people today, and I think society is more dangerous. I think we're just more aware of the dangers. People would still kidnap children all the time in the fucking 50s, right, or 60s. People did that. They still killed children. People were still murdered, and there were serial
Just a bit stupid. Just a bit stupid.
Like, I remember my mom used to tell me that the only reason she had to be back home before the street light turned on. That was the rule.
Nowadays, it's pretty rare for a parent just to let their kid wander. It's interesting because the reports of missing children have actually fallen 40% since the 90s for FBI and national.
See, that's what I'm saying. People aren't more protective of their kids. It was just you didn't know, man. Like, whatever city you guys live in, if you were in the fucking 1970s, you don't even know what's happening 3 towns over. Unless it's in the fucking newspaper, bro, it's just, oh, somebody got kidnapped fucking 3 states away. You're never going to hear about it.
Crime Information Center. Yeah, of course, this study was in 2014, but it's just interesting to think that either the number of child abductions have gone down because people have stopped letting their kids wander around, or that there is more education about ways to prevent child abduction.
I think it's a culmination of things. I think kids get kidnapped less now because parents are more productive. There's education on what kids should and should not do around strangers. And technology.
Now, there are other factors as well, such as technology advancement, law enforcement tactics, and public awareness. I always just find it interesting how throughout generations, the concept of letting their kids wander without parental supervision.
Speaking from experience, I just got kidnapped. I told you about that like 3 days ago. Well, I don't know if I almost got kidnapped, but a van did follow me around for like 30 minutes. And I was going in literal loops. And that shit was fucking scary.
Supervision has changed so drastically. And this guy, I was looking at, I was always into like horror movies and monster movies, and so I was reading these books in this. They had a section of like monster books. Yeah. And this guy came up to me and he goes, "Do you like monster books?" I go, "Yeah." And he goes, "Oh, I have some monster books in my car. You want to see them?" No. Okay. Like I didn't know any better. I was 8 years old or whatever it was, and as I'm leaving with this guy, that man just got out of jail. And she yells at him, I definitely heard him out there, and the guy runs away. I just start crying. It's just, I was a runner and road It's just me. One day it's just me, and I'm fishing in terms of honor. He tells me.
I'm gonna joke with this fuck you.
Hi Twitch, what's good? He is not winning.
I'm like super confused. How old are you? And I talked to this guy off and on, but I'd seen him, you know, for months. Yeah, he'd come by, say hi. He was always like casual, very good humor, very friendly, but he was like setting us up. And he comes by, and then I realized after it wasn't even like he love without schools. That's what he says. And I'm like, what? I had a knife. So I remember, like, I grabbed my knife from my pocket. I had my hand on my knife, and I was like, oh my god, I'm gonna have to stab this guy. Yeah, I was like, this is gonna, because there was no one around. There was no one around. It was just trees and forms.
Why was that inside on the he said he was running around himself? Why was that inside?
Oh, I was gonna cut this guy. I would have trusted the guy. Yeah, you're right.
He talks about how he spends a lot of time up in Canada, where he's at farmhouse. Apparently, farmhouse is haunted.
I'm there with my dad in Canada a lot, and we have the old family farm. The pond farmhouse. Well, let me say that there's residual energy from the people who live there on the path.
There is some motherfucker fucking ball. Burn it to the ground. You own the land. Fucking broke it down and made it out. Get rid of it. Shovel a bunch of dynamite in it. Blow it up. Yeah.
Some vicious words in that.
In a few states, there is a law that requires people selling their homes to disclose if anybody has, died or is murdered. Yeah, that is somebody like killed themselves or killed somebody else in the house. It brings down the house's value by a lot. The law is very, very. Apparently, you only have to disclose if there was a tragic death, like a murder. Somebody gets murdered. If you have a house that's say worth not that people aren't willing to say, fuck, you gotta sell that house. Yeah, I think it depends on the market. Probably $100,000. Nobody's buying property. They're going to be interested. Oh, somebody got murdered here a month ago. Never mind.
A long time life and passed away in a home, you don't have to disclose it. Now, apparently Dan had to disclose it.
Oh, yeah. It's like, if you're like, it's like an old grandpa that died of like a heart attack or something. I think that's different.
Somebody died in a house that he was selling in Los Angeles.
Even then, I don't know if I would want to buy the thing.
Jewelry will hop around the table, shapes to be seen. Feel a touch in the shoulder, that kind of thing. The staff felt it.
My house is 120 years old. Yeah, somebody died in your home, bro. No chance nobody died in that house.
And I had an experience one night where something got into bed with me. I was alone.
You probably have 45 people that died in your house.
I don't know what went on there, but I just figured out. Well, in my ghost. I think I was being come on to there, but anyway,
that's a YouTube clip.
That house.
Dan Aykroyd's ghost.
Well, it tried to come on to me, and I didn't refuse it.
So you resisted?
You know what? I just snuggled up next to it and went to sleep.
Stoned with it.
I did. I felt the shape. I looked and saw the depression. I saw the depression in the mattress, and I felt a shape, something next to me, like felt a form next to me, and I no, that night I was working on a picture and went to bed early.
Now, Dan says that there were 2 spirits living in the house, and one night his daughter saw one of these spirits later.
And my daughter saw him walking with a little red-haired girl down the hall once. And I think that but anyway, this whole house was right in the California real estate documents from this side. By law, you have to divulge any unusual activity in the house. So I had to sign a clause in there that said, yes, our tenure in the house, we have experienced.
Oh, but afterwards it went away? See, I don't know, bro. He's dangerous. He's saying he was cuddling a ghost, and his kids saw it too. There was a depression in the bed. And after doing some research, unless you're on drugs, man, you also found that things that were on in the house. Apparently he had a Stairmaster in the house, and it would just randomly turn on. There was also a piano in their house, and at random times keys would be played, and there's many instances of things. Thank you so much for watching. Yeah, that could be the fucking flavor of gossip or some shit. Alright.
Hostile UAV in the area. Enemy UAV is online. Enemy deployed an advanced UAV.
Somewhere, so make some noise for We've done that. Next video. YouTubers who accidentally found verified things.
Comet tells you that family were exploring a McCoy mine in Nevada. An abandoned mine shaft in the desert accessible, the group begins to travel to the desert and begin their exploration. The cavern was very large, with two artifacts still present when it was functional years ago.
That's just say they don't talk because they fear that apple bring down the loot rock. Why don't you wandering in a cave and they think talking is going to make this go out?
Two artifacts still present when it was functional years ago. The group stays quiet as they don't want to risk the sound dislodging any rocks from the ceiling. However, it's not long before they approach something that demands discussion.
Reflection, we're trying to...
Just a fucking mouth eye killed both of them.
Oh.
Fuck your mouth, you motherfucker. Don't you say the word fuck. You're like 6 years old. Shut the fuck up.
The group finds a large pile and boom.
Okay.
I thought it was just going to be gets justifiably cautious, and he stands back as they're unsure what to do from here. One member of the group
I'm gonna get the fuck out of the way. There's a bunch of children's shoes and bones, or other animals' bones. I'm out.
holds a gun, either by predators deeper in the cave, or quite possibly, even in the Right then at the sound, it will scatter more bones.
Everything in here looks so sketchy. That makes it a fucking big
Further investigation more likely to be known were a result of animal carcasses from predators such as mountain lions who might have feasted on the food. There is no definite explanation.
You always get a pair of those sneaks right there. Those ones are fucking high quality. I feel like I can resell those from StockX for like fucking one.
There is no definite explanation for this, and I don't think there ever will be. However, the leading theory is that these were trophies collected from a serial killer.
How is that a theory? You just see shoes in an abandoned cave. Well, the realistic theory here is that it's a serial killer's trophies. What? That's like there's nothing leaning towards that. It's a bunch of shoes in an abandoned mine shaft. Half of those shoes look old as fuck, and there's animal bones everywhere. What the fuck? Why would a serial killer put them there?
Collecting items from victims isn't unheard of, with a very famous legend in Michigan claiming that a mysterious tree dangling children's shoes was also decorated by a serial killer. if you look at the shoes, they all.
Yo, you know the one surefire way to know that you're in like an area where you gotta watch out when motherfuckers be throwing shoes over the wires? God damn, you know what I'm talking about? When you're fucking just walking and there's like a pair of shoes that are just hanging. Why do people do that? Shoes over power lines. Like you don't want your shoes anymore, so you just throw them over the fucking house. Because they want the London Bridge to fall down. What?
Also appeared to be tethered
Respect for dead people? Celebration. Hard violence. Or not violence. Miles. This is another article that says Okay, so then I am right to say I'm sketched out by that because that's where people are blaming Some shoes are so worn that you can just
while others years old. These shoes weren't dumped here all at once. The collection the two are either missing person photos. Not one, not 2,000. Not one, not two, but dozens of photos people, different people. Oh my God! That big guy. One might watch a video. Take a closer look. These are missing persons from all across the United States and throughout different years. They also look very old and weathered, as if they've been hung up for quite some time.
That means
Whether this be a serial killer easier reach than saying shoes in a fucking abandoned serial killer. That kind of speaks that. Maybe it's a serial killer's. Maybe it's a serial killer's mark of his territory. Maybe the serial killer really wants to fucking show off the people. The serial killer is still disturbing. The man that investigated the surrounding area finds a few more unsettling. The most odd being what appears to be a cage built with vine and tree branches and filled in holes sitting in the center. The man eventually hears voices and runs away. Oh my God. He reported the findings to the police, and after a quick investigation, a house adjacent to the campsite claimed that they pinned the photos as if they were preparing for an upcoming Halloween party. However, if that's the case, He revisited the site on Halloween to only find people who no
people off.
Damn, bro.
Themselves and a group of friends as they visit haunted locations. I say this with no disrespect, as I think it makes for a more interesting story. However, their content is very suited to the
and a lot of the comments were like, "What's
I went down on this fuck nigga. Nigga don't want no smoke.
Slow down, like a lot of it. I know they do like chill ghost hunting, but like if you watch a Sam and Colby video, like
What should I say? Tyreek G.
not real good. They're kind of panning into.
Seems like every abandoned place they go to has some paranormal occurrence, and it's hard to imagine that at least some of these aren't staged. Again, I want to hear. Very entertaining, and they enjoy the success of production. However, one night, they witnessed one of the most terrifying horrors.
It's done, too.
Insane asylum. Visited an abandoned asylum format they have on Twitter. They explored the abandoned buildings and
Two of them.
You're in the top 10. You're knocking it down.
I don't know if I'm stay there overnight for $1 million. Dude, I would sleep down there. Not alone. 100. 10, if you give me 10 and you take like a wagon line 10.
They act nervous and walk around cautiously. However, as they're exploring more, they hear police sirens coming from the distance. Places technically trespassing, you can leave the building and stakes out in the woods. It's only here that a series of odd occurrences commence that even the YouTubers aren't quite sure what to think. The most people using the building to check it out, in a helicopter with active searchlights fly.
Fuck! So I keep all thing after that was there's a fucking serial killer in that goddamn fucking abandoned house. I'm getting the fuck out of here. We got they're looking over us. They're coming here in the fucking woods. The goddamn
they run through the woods, trying to escape.
We got him inside. No. Hey, I'm sorry, bro. See you in the corner. Go.
I'm out of that bitch, bro. I'm out of that. I'm
I got him.
I'm cutting the cameras. I'm dropping that bitch. I'm saying, get me the fuck
You'll get another chance.
Right there. Yeah, grandma at the airport.
After this night, the uploaded video, users begin to get curious and investigate what might have happened that night. And a few weeks later, they would find out, yes, it was true. This was most definitely not a If you take a look at this map, The YouTube group was released for in early September. September 13th, I found the World War from and that tragedy night in this world.
The fuck? He really still like that. Oh my god, I was feeling like I was
What's up, what's that background?
so that one actually died. Dude, if I was switching abandoned houses and somebody died, fucking already away from me, I'd be like, I'm not fucking losing this shit anymore.
Captains is a YouTube channel that focuses on recovering artifacts and missing ponds. These are normally related to true crime cases, whether it be a popular criminal or an article of poetry. The goal of the channel is to basically help out investigations as well as aiding the environment. That's why on May 26th, 2020, the group planned to participate in a massive Oregon. They found evidence to find a dead body. Oh my god, they're gonna find a fucking dead body. Evidence of multiple vehicles that were sunk to the bottom of the lake. On a day when the tide was low, the group built a map pinning general locations.
Not even, okay, not even if you're walking with your friends in the woods and you see a dead fucking body, I mean, like, that's what Logan Paul ran into, and I mean, he had, like, a fucking weird-ass reaction. I would call 911, but I would also be like, I would be calling oh my god, I would want to know so bad, like, what the fuck happened.
And plan to dedicate the day to retrieving them and cleaning up the water. They get in their wetsuits, diving down and pinpointing each car until they make it. Then pushing on the first car, and preparing for extraction. After attaching the car to the purpose went live, we could document this moment in command.
Goddamn decoy.
It's coming out right now.
The 2 liters in the storm.
What, 4 or 5 hours? 4 or 5 hours.
Hit that plantation, bro.
It was 80 feet deep. And so, into this, we jumped down and died. That's a ride. The only thing that can bring us to force me out of the
I'm between the water, and just as the first car began to emerge from the lake, I'm showing the other down.
Be careful, yeah.
A decomposed body and bones was sitting on the seat. After the police were called, investigation found that this body belonged to the body. Main witness in November 27th, after 8, 12.
They got oh.
This cave in Washington County is named the 8 Cave and stretches almost 2.5 miles long. The cave is rather open, and it's typically welcoming to Columbus. Josh and his friends found this encouraging, however, weren't afraid of taking a little risk to reach less explored
location, bro.
Some sort of writing. I can't really make out what it says.
Wait up.
No way I lost that bullshit.
Is that the? Oh my.
The other 12-minute blocks
Yeah,
of
that's
fun. We begin to walk down a corridor that continuously gets slowly smaller. Each rock stumbles, each tunnel. We continue to question the district team, wondering if there's any sort of score.
Hey, run it back, bro.
Alright, bet. Damn, come on, man. There you go.
Yeah, don't tell me you gave me a donut, man.
Ooh.
You gave me a donut just last game, dog.
No, I did.
Yeah, you did.
No, the hell I did.
I swear to God, I'm looking at that bitch right now, bro.
No, bro. Bitch, I killed goddamn 3 people with the sniper.
Alright, bitch.
I ain't had
You
no.
want me to show you?
What about I ain't had no donuts now?
Oh, hell nah. Nah, yeah, this a different game. I'm tripping.
Use this time for some target practice. The real thing's coming soon.
Oh, you have both.
All stations, green
I
light.
had 6K damage on the dot. 2K? Hey, you might need to start sniping.
For me?
Hell yeah.
Resurgence.
Alright, y'all. Where you wanna go?
Squad in the fight.
Shit, living quarter.
Say less.
Where we going at?
I'm gonna go red house.
Red house sounds like it active, isn't it?
Busting that bitch out the rib.
Enemy destroyed. Use your tac map to hunt down the rest of them.
That boy getting active at goddamn
Nine
control.
there. Keep the pressure on. We've got 10 squads active in the field. Enemy UAV is online.
See? Coming back. Taking to the shit.
Changing back.
I got my same loadout from last game. Like what, ground loot. I'm straight now. Got it, man. Gonna go kill me some shit.
Add two in the tent screen.
Squad mate back on station. Good work. Mark remaining operators from that squad. Hunt them down. Enemies are dropping into the area. Watch the sky. Vulnerable. Fire station. Suck it up, mate.
I only got 3 kills off all that. Damn, I'm ass.
Repeatedly mentioned that the RV was and although after 6 months, reports became more and more suspicious, in the body cam footage that was later released by the Nashville police officers can be seen walking around the downtown area, urging any stragglers to evacuate for their own safety.
Would the van blowing up hurt you inside of a building? If I'm on like the 7th floor of an apartment building and there's just an RV on the road, like you're not gonna, if it gets close, yeah, maybe if it's jammed with TNT. How many bombs does he have in here? I gotta scan this video.
You're not in trouble, but there's something serious happening down the road.
Go for 11.
Do you mind going down 2 seconds?
I need to go one of your
That's so easy. That's like this kind of a movie. Like, yeah. And he's gonna walk up to the van. He has a gun? Bro, that ain't helping him if there's a bomb in the car. Yeah, oh, I got my gun on me. I'll be good. Yeah, when you knock on the fucking door, it blows up. The explosion, yeah, that'll disarm it.
The robotic voice and its ominous warnings give the whole scene an extremely eerie vibe, like, as the police officer mentioned, something out of the movie The Purge. Strangely, the RV also brought...
This ain't like The Purge. I mean, maybe the voice. Like that. Yo, chat, you think you survived The Purge? Bro. That shit is such a stupid premise for a movie. It's like a fun series to watch. You know what you do? Leave the country. Leave the country or go dig a hole in the woods. Sit in it for like 12 hours. Because if you can't leave the country, yeah, go in the ocean. Get on a boat. Go in international waters. Sit 10 miles out. 20 miles out for fucking 12 hours on a fucking kayak. Come back in. You're off the coast of fucking Massachusetts. You think there's gonna be some dude that's racist? That's literally not racist. The biggest pirated area is that path where shipping containers come through. It's like a historical fact. That's not racist at all.
Unfortunately, the robotic voice wasn't bluffing, and just 15 minutes later, the RV detonated near the AT&T building, causing damage to more than 50 buildings, and even collapsing a few of them with its massive blast radius. In the aftermath...
It collapsed multiple buildings? Was there a guy in the van?
Yes, and the cops can be seen assessing the damage and looking by pedestrians to save them from climate change that can only be described as apocalyptic. Even though the explosive inside the RV was extremely powerful, the cops managed to evacuate
Drove it Or that last video.
Nah, 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 nah. Look at this.
Explosive material to lock the test. And it was entry one of itself. It was still inside the vehicle at the time of the detonation. After the incident, he further slowed down as the statement was going to do something so insane. The time was pretty slow.
What? Like lizard people in the government. What the fuck does that have to do with him blowing himself up?
It was also revealed that 60 minutes before the explosion, Romer's girlfriend had called the cops to report that he was building explosives inside the office.
Every time you see one of these RVs, this is the exact setup of this shit. Some old ass wooden fence